Greetings and salutations, I'm Kev. Welcome back to this little let's play or let's read of Outpost 2, Divided Destiny. We're going to start Mission 4. Mission Briefing. Commander, recent observations indicate that the Blight grows less rapidly at night. Oh, that's what happened last episode. I was wondering why it didn't spread out. Okay, and we'll send our research convoy to our old home under the cover of darkness. We have modified several scouts and Lynx tanks to temporarily resist the effects of the Blight. Unfortunately, we do not know how long we will be able to retain control of the vehicles before they become infected, or what the effect the Blight will have on the units. Watch them carefully and proceed as quickly as possible. Each Lynx is equipped with a new laser weapon. These vehicles are very similar to those previously developed at our original colony site. Our units must infiltrate the colony and find the advanced labs where the information we need is located. Move a scout directly next to the side of the lab so that the scout can scan the structure for data. Scanning, locating and transmitting the data back to us will take the scouts a few moments. This expedition is a one-way trip. Once our units enter the infected area, they will be carriers of the Blight. We do not want them to return unless we are sure it will be safe. The advanced labs have sustained heavy damage and may explode spontaneously. If that happens, the data will be lost forever. We must hurry. Check the specific objectives list for more information. So here we can see that we basically have to transfer data from 3 labs. No need to build structures because we won't have a base, we're just gonna have units on the map. There are a few missions like this too. So that's what we're gonna do this one. And of course, story time, next chapter. 4. Autopsy. Brooke squirmed uncomfortably in the chair. The walls of the room were pastel pink. Planter boxes were under all the windows and freestanding pots were jammed with growing plants. Intercom screens on all the walls displayed decorative images of babies and children at play. Like most locations in the still crowded colony, the room did double duty, as witnessed by the folded med station in the corner. But the knowledge that on another day it might serve as a delivery room or emergency surgery did nothing to relieve the relentless cheerfulness of the place. The nursery was a fragrant strange place to come to talk about a dead person. The small blonde woman, Dr. Van Dozier by the name of the door, who studied him from behind her neat desk, seemed to sense his uneasiness. I know this is a little strange, Mr. Panati. Autopsies aren't our usual business here, but the medical center is still coming up to speed and some non-essential tasks are routed to me. You'd made an inquiry about Delarica's accident, and given that she has no surviving family, I thought it would be appropriate to talk with you. Autopsy? She died months ago. She nodded, and her green eyes seemed to look into him deeply. Seemed to look into him so deeply that it made him uncomfortable. Her body was put into stasis until we had enough slack time to examine it. She waved her hand to indicate the room. Our primary business here is life, not death. She saw him flinch. I don't mean to be insensitive, Mr. Panati. In fact, the delay is the primary reason why I asked you here personally, rather than simply sending you a message. If you don't mind my asking, was Miss Rika a companion, a lover? He smiled slightly and shook his head. We were friends, classmates in school. We'd been spending a lot of time together lately, and I guess I wondered if it might turn into more, but, well, we'll never know about that, I guess. You learned something about what killed her. Dr. Van Dozier looked down at her desk, her mouth a tight line. Nothing you couldn't have guessed. Massive trauma resulting from explosive decompression and the fall from the window. Oxygen deprivation only quickened things, I'm afraid. On the other hand, if it's any comfort, she didn't suffer. The loss of consciousness would have been almost immediate. None of which came as any surprise to Brooke, which made his presence here all the more puzzling. That's all. She chewed her lower lip. The only solid thing, yes. But now that I've had the chance to study the accident report, I'm left with questions, probably the same questions you had when you made your inquiries. Only a small meteor impact would have left no evidence, and yet a small impact shouldn't have shattered the window that way. At most, there should have been a small crack that the self-repair gel could have sealed. He leaned back in his chair, surprised. That's exactly right. I have my resources, but the disaster incident response team that handled the investigation has been very quiet about the whole business. I smell cover-up. Which I'm not a party to, I assure you. We coordinate with the Dirt Agency, and I have a number of contacts there. It is just possible that I can't find out more for you if you want. Want? I'd be very grateful, please. She let out a little sigh and broke eye contact again. Which brings me to another matter. Rumor has it that you're a man who trades in favors. His delight went out like a match in vacuum. You mean you want to exchange a favor for information on my friend's death? She held up a hand to calm him. No, I'll find out what I can in any case. But there is a small bureaucratic matter that you might be able to influence, and if you could, well, I would be in your debt. Brooke untensed. He realized that he didn't want to be angry with this woman. I can try. What do you need? The colony's human gene banks have been located in the command center since the colony relocated. Traditionally, these have been kept in the nursery, and I assumed that they would be moved here as soon as we were fully operational. Somehow, though, the transfer seems to be hung up by red tape. Rebuilding the colony population is important work, and right now I or one of my staff has to go to the CC every time we need a new genotype. It's a huge bother and a waste of our time, and you can see how backed up we are here. Brooke thought about it. His remaining contacts in the CC were limited, but Della had friends there, and he knew they'd want to aid in the investigation if possible. I think I can do something about that. He stood and held out his hand to her. She took it, her fingers soft and surprisingly strong. Her smile was back. We should meet again to compare notes, but if there really is something suspicious going on, perhaps we shouldn't meet here. She seemed to consider the idea for a moment. I just got assigned to my new quarters, and the woman I share with works evening shifts. Perhaps we could have dinner there. He sighed. 3 times already he'd used his own room assignments as trading fodder, and he was still sleeping in a corridor. That would be great, Dr. Van Dozier. Please, call me Echo if I can call you Brooke. She watched his face for a reaction, as though she'd been expecting one. It's a funny name, but I like it. He wasn't sure if she was talking about her name or his. I'll message you when I have something to share. He smiled back at her as he headed out the door. You do that. He'd arranged to meet Axon at a tunnel junction near the southern edge of the colony. Most of the buildings were still being completed, and thus traffic was light this late in the day. He found Axon waiting impatiently as usual, even though he was only a few minutes late. As he walked up, Axon was staring at a symbol spray painted on the wall, a red circle divided down by the middle by a vertical line. Axon looked over his shoulder and glared at Brooke. Where have you been? Like it was any of his business. The old man was getting his fingers far too deep into Brooke's affairs, and Brooke didn't like it. Thus he took a certain perverse pleasure in telling the half-truth. I was doing some trading. I made a new contact in the nursery, and I'm greasing the wheels for the day we need something from them. This seemed to placate Axon. Well then, it's just that you've been so distracted since that Della girl died. I know it upset you, but I have to be able to depend on you. I warned you about... Brooke scowled at him. You know, you can be a cold son of a bot sometimes, Axon. She was just a friend, though that's plenty reason enough for me to be upset. But my personal life is my personal life, and I expect you to keep out of it. Axon frowned, but said nothing. And you can depend on me. Craft was transferred to the new robot command center this morning, installed in the rack that you tweaked. I have a convex set to go at the structure factory. You want to go for a ride? Axon actually smiled. Brooke wondered if his face was going to crack. As they made their way to the structure factory, Axon filled him in on his latest meeting with the scientist Jensen. Seems they have a vehicle design that is able to handle the microbe. They've had one all along, basically. Nguyon's prototype combat vehicle was hardened against biochemical attacks. The special inert seals have been adapted to other vehicles as well. Unmanned, I assume. Axon nodded. Whatever goes in can't come out because of the contamination. The idea is to find out as much as they can about the Blight and the accident at the lab. The biological components of the computer systems have been destroyed, but some of the electronic and optronics memories may still be recoverable. They haven't told me when the mission was scheduled to start. It may have already happened for all I know. They slipped quietly through the structure factory, suited up, and made their way out through the service lock adjacent to the loading dock. The big construction vehicle was already loaded with a huge slab that was a structure kit. They adjusted their suit radios to scramble for privacy and climbed into the cab. Brooke explained, "This is the residence I pushed up the schedule for a few weeks ago. It has to go all the way around the colony, which would have an hour or more in the vehicle without interruption." Brooke finally had managed to get Axon his computer back, after a fashion. During construction, he had rearranged for Axon to get access to a computer rack in the robot command center. Since the building hadn't been operational, he could work without suspicion. Only after the tampering had been done had he arranged for the Eden's elder savant to be transferred to the new building and that particular rack. The RCC was, like the RCC, a highly secure area. Axon wouldn't be able to get back in without close supervision, but they'd opened a secure line that was unlikely to be detected. Axon had piggybacked a channel on the guidance signal being routed from the RCC to the vehicles, and he could tap it through any vehicle's computer. And Brooke certainly had access to vehicles. Axon was tinkering with his radio again. That symbol on the tunnel wall, have you seen it before? No, should I? I've seen 3 of them in the last week. The maintenance crews clean them up as fast as they appear, but now that I know what to look for, I've seen signs of a dozen more that have been painted over. Kids? Possibly, most likely, but I'd just as soon know what it means. It looks a bit like the Plymouth Seal, or possibly it represents a divided world or a world reunited. Brooks thought of his visit to the nursery earlier. Or a dividing egg. It could be kids, or a political faction, or Plymouth sympathizers, or a band of rogue artists brightening up the colony. I couldn't care less. Axon finished his tinkering. I routed the channel through another scramble to my suit radio. Brooke grimaced. Again, you don't trust me. I tell you what you need to know. Then he touched the suit control pad, and the radio went silent. Brooke could see his lips moving as Axon talked with the computer, but could hear nothing. Brooke leaned back in his seat, put his feet up, crossed his arms over his chest, and sulked. He watched the panorama of the colony skyline as it rolled past the windows. 10 minutes later, Axon turned his radio back to their common channel. Brooke studied the elder's face. His features looked drawn and tense. Well, it is essential that we get Craft tied back into the satellite uplink. Drop everything else and get on it. Why? I'll tell you when you need to know, Axon snapped. Just get me the fragging link. He seemed to think about it for a while. I wouldn't make any long-term plans for this place if I were you. I wouldn't make any long-term plans at all. Then he switched his radio back to the private channel and ignored Brooke. Brooke stared at him silently. What in blazes did he mean by that? She'd insisted that they eat before she told him what she'd found. At first he'd resented the delay, but as he sampled the chow mein she'd prepared, probably only the second or third home-cooked meal he'd had in his life, and they shared the beer he'd brought, things seemed less urgent. He generally enjoyed Echo's company, though he felt a little guilty, as though he were somehow taking advantage of Delon's death. Also, in the back of his mind was always Axon's voice, warning him of the perils of relationships. Brooke wasn't sure if he wanted to embrace this advice or defy it, though as the evening went on, he was leaning towards the latter. She told him about her childhood at an isolated research station away from the main Eden colony, which is why he hadn't known her, even though they were the same age. She told him how she'd rarely had any playmates and how, when she'd learned what her name meant, she'd made up a pretend playmate, an identical twin. What did you call her? She giggled. Echo, of course. Of course. She explained how this led to her interest in genetics and reproductive medicine. I was a lonely kid. I have a thing about making sure that there are no more lonely kids out there. Speaking of which, I have a lead on getting the gene bank transferred to the nursery. I've talked to friends with council influence. Seems some of the council think it's safer in the CC. The paranoia level is getting pretty extreme out there. around here, but they're in the minority and don't want to make a public stink. I wouldn't be surprised to see the paperwork go through in the next week. She smiled warmly. Thanks, Brooke. That's great news. Keep me informed of the details, okay? The smile faded, and she licked her lips nervously. I have some news for you too, Brooke, and I've been putting it off. I just wanted a chance for you to get comfortable with me first, to develop some trust. This is the kind of news that, coming from a perfect stranger, you probably would be reluctant to believe. Brooke put down his beer and leaned closer. Okay. I've talked to my contacts in the dirt. Sure enough, there's a cover-up. They aren't protecting anyone. Quite the contrary, they're trying to avoid a panic. They found evidence of tampering on the window. Those things are a sandwich, 2 panes of armor glass with a layer of sealant gel in the middle. Somebody tampered with the gel. It could have been done in any number of ways, but from inside or outside the window. Suffice to say that somehow they injected a chemical that over time converted the gel inside into a highly unstable, if not very powerful, explosive. A sharp tap was all it took to set it off, and it blew the window to shreds, sucking out whoever was standing in front of it. Any kind of projectile weapon would have produced a sufficient impact, even a slingshot, maybe even just a well-thrown rock. Brooke blinked. You're saying she was murdered? I think someone waited outside until they saw her through the window, then set off the explosion. Why would anyone do that to Della? She averted her eyes. You knew her better than I. Since we lack a formal police force, the dirt is handling the investigation. They're blowing it. They're investigating her friends and co-workers, though they're not being very thorough about it. For instance, near as I could find out, they completely missed you. We had only gotten back together in the few weeks before she... Wait a minute, are you suggesting that you think I killed her? Echo laughed. No, of course not. But it means they've missed a number of connections to her that wouldn't otherwise be apparent. She paused again, searching for words. I've stumbled onto other evidence that the dirt seems to have missed. Putting that together with what I know about you leads me to one possible conclusion that they'd never consider, which is, she sighed, have you ever considered the possibility that your friend Axon Moon is a murderer? Ooh, cliffhanger. Generate! Onwards! Again, we were just now just gonna recover some thingy mobs. So, on we go. Start mission.
Command control initiated.
And as you can see, we now have access to vehicles. But that's about it. So I'm just gonna bunch them up, if the game will let me. More importantly, if the cat will let me, because he's taking residence in my lap while I was talking. I probably should have these in 2 groups.
Damage warning.
So basically now I have to search for the hot labs and locate them. And there's actually someone to fight over there. So let's do that. Fired by laser beams. Zap, zap, zap.
We are under attack.
Oh, we can actually see their vehicles, but we can't see. Ah. Okay. Now we were given coordinates to where the heck those hot lab things were, but... dang it, there's a... Okay, fine, attack this one too.
We are under attack.
Sadly, the game won't, like, tell me exactly where those things are. Oh! Oops. Get out of there.
Damage warning.
Oops, I basically lost one of my precious scouts.
We are under attack. Enemy sighted.
Okay, destroy that. Let's see, where the heck were they? 2055. So that's along this route. Let's see, do we have command groups? I don't think this game had command groups. But there's one hot lab this way, so we're gonna move the tanks in this direction. 2055s, that's over here. So there are patrolling vehicles that we have to avoid. Other than that, we're just gonna zoom about with the little laser trucks.
Damage warning.
And need to avoid the patrols,
Enemy unit sighted.
because the patrols will basically kill us dead if we're not careful. Oh, he's coming for us.
We are under attack.
And we only have so many scouts. At least we got a kill cycle there, a kill zone there. Rather fictive one. It's set up here, I think that's a hot lab there. Just want to make sure that there aren't any more laser tanks before I send in one of the vehicles. Looky behold.
We are under attack.
Oh, there's one in the south too.
Sighted.
Oh, yeah, okay, we're gonna hit the laser truck first. Guys, this one.
Data transmit.
That's it. We transferred the data. Yes, we got the data. Okay, good. So next one was at where?
We are under attack.
2625, so that's way up in the corner. That's
Enemy unit sighted. Vehicle destroyed.
And you have to be quick about this because our vehicles are actually being damaged over time here, I think. So we can't tarry for too long here. And since we have the scouts are actually much faster than the laser lynxes, so have to be a bit careful about that too. 2625, so there's a hot lab up here somewhere. And the last one was at where? 46
Sighted.
34. Oh, there was a hot lab. Ah, it was right next door.
We are
Oops.
under attack.
Wish I'd noticed that before. Okay, we're gonna go up here and I'm gonna go back the same way we came. At least we won't have to fight in these stationary posts.
Enemy unit sighted.
We saw there were more laser tanks up there. So let's roll out. Vehicles will take...
We are under attack.
we'll move slower the more damaged they are, if I recall correctly, so... Light shows. Hit them with that laser beam.
Enemy unit sighted.
I'm gonna send the incredibly damaged scout up there. Oh, there are more units. Ah, never mind. Roll out. Kill.
We are under attack.
Ah. You just go up there.
Destroyed.
Should be safe there. Okay, all of you guys
Data transmitted.
move south. All of you guys move south, actually. I think we've encountered just about all the patrols that are in the map. Oh, there's one here. They're trying to get us, I think. But yeah, the last hot lab is... was it here? No.
Enemy unit sighted.
Where did you say it was? At 46. 34. Okay, there it is. Okay. Well, in that case, where are my vehicles? You're all the way down there. The rest of you try to bunch up.
Enemy unit sighted.
I don't want you to travel too close to that little group there. If at all possible. You're getting quite a few damaged vehicles at this point. Oh dang it, he's coming for us. Okay, we need to group up. Oh, let's attack.
Under
Let's-
attack.
Yes, need to focus fire. Come on. Oh boy. Yeah, we're running out of vehicles. Let's beeline for it. They blew up one of the scouts too. We only have 2 scouts left. That's okay though.
We are under attack.
If we can get through this one, we'll get up to that last marker fairly easily. And I think that's going to be fine, hopefully. This is the first combat mission, so it's fairly quick. More time for stories! Roll, my little lynxes. And I think that's gonna be it, because we just had to roll up here, and that's gonna be it for this mission. No, wait, this is the basic lab. Where's the advanced lab? Oops. Okay, there might actually be a little bit more. Get away. Get away, little laser. Little scouts.
We are under attack.
Because I have 2 choices here. I could either go through those patrolling vehicles or through the gate post up there, and
Vehicle destroyed.
I'm fairly certain the gate post has a hell of a lot more hit points. So we're just gonna roll up on the other side here. Hopefully there isn't a
We are under
laser
attack.
post there. No, there isn't. Good, we're through. Now we just need to get out of the way. Come on.
You have done well. Our colony is surviving.
Excellent. So we're done. Combat animation. Okay, onwards to mission 5, but that'll have to be next time. I'm going to start a new story. Thank you for watching and listening.